There's one lead type that guarantees that you will consistently avoid chargebacks. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what that is and how it works. So my name is Trey. I am the owner of Agent Lead Lab. In the past 4 years, we've helped well over 700 agents issue pay $40,000 per month. And on this channel, I talk about the strategies, tactics, and behaviors that you can go out and implement into your business so you can be more profitable and continue to grow. So as always, just make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Let's hop right in. So today, I am going to be talking about chargebacks, okay? Some people call them clawbacks. Some people call them returns. All right, so in the life insurance space, this is the factor that truly gets agents terminated. Agencies lose profitability and the fallback of the industry, okay? Where everybody's like, yeah, you can make a lot of money, blah, 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 blah. And then you hear a lot of agents talk about, hey, I haven't really had a lot of success. I was not able to actually get ahead of myself. It comes back to chargebacks, okay? Now, quick little story about myself. When I was selling, I was doing like 28 to about 40K a month, give or take, when I was trying to get to the league. And one of the things that I ran into and I noticed really quickly is that when I got picked up, immediately within the first 2 to 3 months, my chargebacks were insane. Like I think it got up to about $35,000 I owed myself. And within, that was probably over 5 months. And the reason why I bring that up is because you don't really realize what you're doing is you're selling because you're just compounding, right? Like you're selling, then like sometimes you outsell the chargebacks. But what you don't realize is that unless you keep that ball rolling and you build a team and you find ways to overwrite that chargeback, it's going to eventually catch up to you. Unless, right, you do this one thing. So the ironic thing is there are no special leads. So you got this far for me to be honest with you. The real way to actually avoid chargebacks is for you to sell better, for you to actually be a better agent, for you to put clients in better situations, for you not to be the person who gets commission breath and just tells the person, hey, we're just going to post this out. You don't have to pay anything today, right? Like, you have to understand you are trying to avoid the reality of the situation of like, these people do have to pay for something. They are not just putting an application. They're getting life insurance. Now, you may think that, oh, yeah, I don't really want to tell them because like somehow, some way they may have it and then they get their first payment. Here's the thing. So many people are talking about how much money they're making. So many people are talking about how many policies they've written and how many clients they've helped. But here's the reality situation. That policy has to stay on the books for 12 months. Do you understand that if this person cannot pay for it right now in the middle of today with everything going on and they are one paycheck away, they are cooked. Now that means you as an agent, you are cooked, right? For those that don't know what cook means, that essentially just means that you're in a really bad position. You're one step away from not being able to, like that money that they gave you is just a loan, right? And you have to really, really understand that. Like when you're post-dating clients, you need to be aware that you're essentially getting a loan. You really are, because I'm telling you, more than likely, they will not be able to pay their payment. If they're like, oh man, I can't have it come out this Friday or next Friday, make it 3 Fridays from now. It's like, dude, like you need to have this life insurance policy today, next week. You need to always have that amount of money. In their mind, you should be dealing with a client that says, I know I'm going to have this much money. Now, obviously, certain leads have a little bit more of a benefit depending on if you're, closing somebody and they get paid on these certain days of the month, because then it kind of goes into their thing. So they don't really see, like they don't not see it because that sounds manipulative, but you get the point. Like they're not, if they're on like Social Security, disability, or they have some sort of pension and they have specific dates when it comes out every month, then you can set up the billing on that day or on that around that time that they'll always have the money because that's when it hits. So it's just like, oh, it's a part of it. And a lot of people like that, right? It just feels very streamlined with their current. There are other lead types like traditional IULs, mortgage protection, truckers, regular like Gen Life leads, where you're dealing with everyday middle-class Americans that are working a job. If they tell you that they can't afford to spend $150 right now on a life insurance policy, you probably should not close them. Genuinely, you shouldn't. It doesn't make sense. And trust me, I've been there as an agent. Now, people may sit here and tell you, yeah, no, you could do it on this. I promise you, those agents that are doing that, give them a year or two. Give them a full year. Watch how much money they lose, right? And I'm not saying that in a negative way, because there are situations where you truly do have to post date it. Like genuinely, if it's a crazy big amount or whatever is going on, and even in that situation, unless they're deciding to do like a year, like pay the whole thing up annually, like if they're paying, you have to understand, If they can't afford to put 100, if they don't have $100 in the middle, drop of a dime to put towards a policy, like they shouldn't be getting it. Because even if they can do it for 12 months, let's just say you find a way to finesse it and keep like getting their payment back on file. That following year, they are not going to have it. And genuinely, if you're trying to do right by the client, you should not be putting them in that situation. You should be like, you need to spend this much, and this is what you're going to get, and you need something. But it need to come out tomorrow because we need to have something that will be there forever. I can't have it be a rainy day and then you can't afford to pay it. So what can you pay today? Now, or somebody gonna be like, well, you're not gonna write base premiums. Well, it depends on the leads that you run. Depends on the industry that you're in. Those factors do come, but that's not gonna help you avoid a chargeback. You're just gonna write smaller premiums, and then you're gonna have to figure out. And I have videos on that, but I don't. There's this thought process that's like, yeah, if I go to like these leads, I'm gonna have less chargeback. It's like, no, until you learn how to sell better, you got less chargeback. The chargeback is never on the lead; it's on you as the agent. There's so many things that agents try to blame leads for, and I think it's because it's the easiest thing to not take accountability. But if you really want to grow and you really want to like make money and like provide value to a lot of people, you have to take accountability. Take accountability for your team, for your actions, for the things that you're doing. If you don't, then like you're kind of putting yourself in a situation where in the next, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 months, 2 years, you're going to look up and your team or your personal production is not going to be where it needs to be. You're going to have a lot more chargebacks. There's people that's been in the industry for 9 years and they're kind of still making the same money they made 9 years ago. It's like, that's kind of like a job. You're like saying you're a business owner, but like part of business, growing in a business owner is like growing or like learning through experiences. If you're making the same amount of money, if not sometimes less, 8 years than you are right now, you have not learned. You haven't. You haven't applied the things that you've learned to help you grow. If you're just like working your job, makes total sense. But if you are claiming that you are a business owner who's looking to grow and you're making the same amount, that doesn't really make sense. There's something missing. Okay. So I wanted to go over this at a high level today because it was very short and sweet and to the point. The reason I brought this up, you all know I give context. I had a client that commented on one of our Instagram posts, and a few of them actually. And it's funny because the only people that post, like have the time to post, are people that are negative, right? Like genuinely, they take their time out of the day to post. And the guy was like, hey, these leads aren't good. And I was contemplating like, should I respond to this individual or should I just let it be? And part of me that was saying, I'm going to let it be, is because I was like, this person, I'm not going to give this person the energy. But more importantly, this person didn't even really work the leads properly and is claiming they had like a bad experience, which is funny to me because I'm like, you actually didn't put the work in. Like you blamed the leads and you genuinely didn't put the work in. And it's like, I've never met somebody who actually works these leads and doesn't do well. Like legitimately, right? And it's one thing to say you're doing it, but then you're just making an excuse because people don't want to take accountability. I love the life insurance space because it's the perfect mirror. You are fully responsible for whether you do good or bad. No ifs, ands, and buts. You could try to blame outside sources, but it doesn't matter. The right vehicle you're in determines how much money you make. But whether or not you have a good or bad experience relative to the leads and you selling, it's 100% on you. People are like, well, I need to go to this IMO because they have better leads. It's like, whoa, bro, you're not good. So like before you try to say you need better leads, like you need to get good, right? And there's steps, right? It's all about steps. It's like, okay, cool. I did this, now I did this, now I'm doing that. And a lot of times we don't necessarily take those steps in the right direction. So then, we don't get what we're looking for. We don't get the desired outcome that we want. So hopefully this helps. As always, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. It is Monday, so it's top of the week. I just wanted to pop off with this, and I will see you guys next time. Bless.